I used to go to my work with my dad all the time. I can actually even now really vividly picture what his office floor looked like looking out into the Hudson and out at the Statue of Liberty and where his desk was and where my uncle's desk was, who passed away as well. They worked on the same floor together. So it took me a really long time to go back there, and I was lucky enough to have a really good friend who took me there on one Father's Day, probably about 14 years after. But I mean, I don't think there was anything my dad enjoyed more than being a dad. I mean, I used to sit at the back door with a glove and his glove every day and wait for him to come home after work to have a catch. And, I mean, a lot of my memories were related to sports, and he used to take me to Met games all the time. And as you get older, you recognize a lot of things. And like I mentioned before, one of those things that really sits with me was just how much he enjoyed being a dad above anything else. And I mean, I don't think there was anything more that he enjoyed than being around me, my brother and sister, and my mom, and just being a dad. I mean, it impacted so many people. I mean, it's an immeasurable impact. And I think the hard thing for me, definitely with it being so shared, is like, how do I fit into all of that? Like, where does my personal loss and my dad fit into that? And that's the thing that's been really, really hard to kind of grapple with. I mean, to use it as an example, the memorials down at Ground Zero, it's really hard to go back to, because I can remember being there and what being in the Twin Towers was like, and the toy store downstairs in it that my dad always used to take me to buy like a $5 toy that would break by the time I got home because it was a mess with those. But it's just really hard knowing that I'm going there and there's so many people there, and I get stuck because I want to go up to my dad's name because it's on the corner of on the North Tower, and there's always so many people around it, and I want to ask them, is it okay if I stand here? And but then I kind of have to share, well, this is why I want to stand here because this is my dad's name, and I don't want all those eyes on me with all those people around. So it's a really hard thing to grapple with. Like I mentioned before, it's like, where exactly how do I fit my personal loss within all of this kind of collective loss that we all experience at the same time?